Wings is here, and we're going to be kind of evaluating the tier list based on the things that I've seen and how it actually impacts the actual trading card game versus the online meta. I'm making 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. Well, Master Duel new set means get the chance to kind of reevaluate where we stand for the month of June here. Now, I do my tier system on tier 1, tier 1.5, 2. 2 is kind of where like Rogue starts. The lower half of like tier 3 is like worse cards. And then LOL tier, which is where Blue Eyes lives until Battle of Chaos. So we're going to start things off here with Dinosaur. Honestly, Dinosaur still, I think, experiences a lot of problems in this game. It is still a rogue contender, yes, at the end of the day, but I feel like you have to understand fundamentally that you just have to understand, like, your board breaking, your field spell, it's not what it once was at the end of the day. Like, if Striker was a much better deck, then you'd have a lot better real estate, I feel like. I'm still going to put Striker at 1.5. I still think for everything that this deck has in the game and all of, like, the meta skill breakers and things that this deck can do, it does fantastic at what it wants to do. It's one of the better option trees, I think, in terms of just deck skill. But at the end of the day, it's just simply that. Like, it doesn't do really anything else too inherently crazy, but it's still better than most rogue here. Oh boy, so Magistus is now actually functional in this game, right? If I had to guess. Unfortunately, it's Zorua. Like, it doesn't do anything else too crazy. Yeah, like, you can do things with this, but I still don't even consider like this a high-functioning meta contender deck, unfortunately. Like I said, I think it's really cool that you can do things, but it's not even rogue per se. But when you combine this with Exosister, you can do a couple of interesting things. Now, Code Talker here is what we're going to put. I still understand that you can U-Link very consistently with this, and it is still an OTK deck. And especially in one-on-one format, you get away with a lot more BS than you really should be able to with this. But I'm going to put this down here in tier 2. You can very subjectively adjust this up a little bit higher, because it definitely is one of the better rogue contenders. At Emancipator, I mean, okay, so Rock's lost a couple of things on that last list that kind of came through, but a Rock combo still can make some relatively crazy boards. Like, Block Try can still exist. There's no reason to be hitting this in any sort of capacity. Altergeist, this deck has way too many limitations in this game. Like, it is insane to me the amount of limitations that are currently present in here that just hurt this deck so much. Despia. Now, this one is interesting. I'm actually going to put this... I do think that this deck is... With everything it has, it is about 1.5. You know, we don't have Branded Fusion, but before Branded Fusion came out, we did see this deck gaining a lot of steam near the end of that time. And I do think, honestly, that this deck has some really cool potential. Like, really does. If you really want to make the argument, you could put it in borderline tier 2 to 1. You can put it in like 1.75. That's just that. Blue Eyes, I don't have any. This deck has no. We don't do this here. All right. Until we get Jet Dragon. If we haven't already got Jet Dragon, I mean, even with Jet Dragon, I'd still put it like here, but I still don't think it's good. Rockets. Now, Rockets, I don't think we have the big Boral in the game just yet. I know we just got the Big Link 3, and I know we just got like Boral Riot and some of the other stuff to kind of help this out immensely. I don't think... Now, like I said, hear me out here. Pure Rockets, I don't think is very good in the long run. But Dragon Link is an entirely different monster, and Dragon Link doesn't even play this. If you're just trying to play Pure Rockets without, like, the Dragon Link support, I think the deck is not what you're going to want it to be. Does that make sense? Let's see here. We also have Cyber Dragons here. With the new starter deck, I still think this deck is, like, tier 2. Like, this deck still does some pretty cool things. Dark Magician, this is actually an option. I'm going to put this down here in LOL. Like, this just, it doesn't do what I want it to do. Like, for some reason, I understand that, like, players still like this, but, like, you still need more support. You can still be a rogue contender, yes, but it's not as consistent as, like, other things. Dragon Maids will still forever be, like, a tier 2 deck, for sure. Like, this deck is massively really good. Now, Eldritch. Is Eldritch tier 1? Or is it 1.5? I'm actually going to put it in tier 1. You know, they lost a conch, but, like, when you just pick up all of the other floodgates in the room and shove them back into a deck, and you're like, haha, like, what can you do? Like, you've recreated this monster, and, like, this deck is still insane to me. All right? Like, it amazes me how many players just underestimate, like, the oomph of this. All right? Your Shadal package. Invoke Shadal still is floating at 1.5. There's no change. Exosister as it stands right now. I'm going to put it in tier 2. You know, once for the stage of where we are right now in the game, for what you have with what's available, I do think it is a tier 2 deck. For sure. This is one of the better decks really currently present in the game, and I think it can do things. Fluffle. We still have True King of All Calamities, right? Like, if that's the case, then I suppose that this deck, I'm going to put it in 3. I mean, yeah, you can still do things, but it doesn't seem that crazy to me. Really? Galaxy Eyes? Why is Galaxy... Stop. That goes down here. Pendulum-based decks. You know, if I had to say, Pendulum FTK is still up there. It's still a pain, but for the most part, we're going to put it in tier 2. It's still something that'll show up. It'll still ruin players' days. Like, that's the big thing here. We also have the Earth box deck. Earth Machines are still going to be a deck that you're going to have to kind of keep an eye on at all points, just to kind of do your thing. Same thing here with Medolce. Like, these are rogue decks, for sure. Hero, yes, my favorite rogue deck. You just lose to so much weird stuff. Drytron, for sure. This deck is still a pain, man. Like, I honestly think that this deck is still up here. Agents, I'm actually going to put this at 1.5. Agents, where they come into the game at this point, is actually insane. They can actually do things here. I actually think in terms of, like, a competing deck, this is actually really good. Orchest. Orchest. How, like, good is this? I don't know. I'm going to put it in tier 2. We'll reevaluate. Praying Kids, you know, you got slapped on the wrist last list, but you didn't lose anything. You're still good. The Noah Punk Toolbox deck, I know that this deck can still do stuff, but I really think we're going to put it in the lower tier 2. It's going to take a little while for that to get off the ground, but I think it can do it. Oh, look. It's also my favorite Solid Great. I don't think Solid is a tier 1 deck in this game. Like, I'm sorry to tell you that. Synchro Toolbox. While I do think that Synchro Toolbox does a lot of stuff, it was very good early on in the game, but it needs a lot. Sword Soul? Oh, yeah, for sure. If you don't think Sword Soul's a tier 1 deck, you're crazy. Like, you really are. Like, that deck literally gets stuff done. Phantom Knights, still, they do things. I think, for the most part, that they're definitely one of the better decks. Just slightly adjusting where I think things should be here. Thunder Dragons? Oh, man. So, Thunder Dragon Toolbox. I'm going to put this in tier 2. I do think that this deck can do a lot. Colossus is a very good card. A lot of players don't know how to handle it, but it's up there. Tri Brigade, still going to put this in, like, one-ish. I know that this deck has a lot better conversion turnover rate, really, with what it has. True Draco, I'm also going to put in tier 2 here. This deck is still very solid for what it does for its matchups. Nothing really too sad about that. Unchained, I'm also going to put this in the Rogue Buster category. It's Rogue. It can do well. Like, you can get places with it. All right, Utopia, I'm still going to put this down here. In, like, the lower tiers, you'll be able to steal wins with this, but when it gets to the upper tier, I don't think you will. VW is also still, like, in here. It literally sits right next to our dear friend Phantom Knights. These will also just kind of always have heart or places here. And then, like, Zombie Toolbox. So is this is without Golden Lord stuff. I'm probably going to put this down here. I understand like the zombie deck itself can still do stuff, but it's just that. So your tier 1, pretty much what you've expected. 1.5, still nothing's changed here. I think agents might feel a little bit higher up, but if you watch this deck fully combo off, I think you're going to be really disappointed. And also where the Exosister deck comes in right now with the Magistus stuff that it has for like extending options, it's kind of cool actually. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.